Alrighty, guys. It's 3:30, so 3:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For everybody that's new and everybody that's online, if you see these blocks in the knee pad, if you're online, you definitely don't need them. I just think they're fun, and it adds up a little bit of a spice to the workout. So if you don't have them, feel free to use a pillow if your knees end up hurting at all. And if you want, you don't really need a block. You just use anything else that you can balance on. Everybody in person, feel free to grab a block or knee pads. We will be on our knees a little bit today. So if your knees do start to hurt, don't stress. Feel free to go grab one in the middle of class too. I promise you're not bothering anybody. That being said, also, at the end of class, I'll remind you again, but feel free to sign in too. It looks good for our records if you do, but if you don't want to, I totally understand. That's okay as well. A little bit about today's class. So this will be a 45-ish minute Pilates yoga flow, meaning that we're focusing more on the Pilates side of it, less on the yoga side of it. I can't teach a meditative class. I love to talk way too much. So if you can meditate throughout that, by all means, go ahead. I can't even meditate throughout that, so it be on you. So with that being said, we're going to start with like a warm-up, and that's just where we're going to focus on everything, trying to get in tune with our body, what muscles are hurting, what muscles aren't hurting, just so that you know a little bit better during our flow what's going to hurt and what's not going to hurt, so you can better prepare for that. Then we'll head into the main bulk of the workout, and if you didn't notice, we added an extra 5 minutes onto it because I want to do core at the very end. I know I kept missing out on so much core in the last session, so don't worry, we're going to have it today. And this is a progressive class, so we will be building off of all of the movements that we do. You might notice bird dogs a lot, and your least favorite words will be little baby pulses at the very end, but you will notice a huge gain. We'll go from like a level 2 intensity to like a 2.5, 3, level 3 intensity. You won't even notice. You'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful, beautiful, always. If you do tend to struggle with any movements or any modifications, everybody's at their own skill level right now. There are movements that I can't even do. I just don't teach them because that's embarrassing for me. So I won't teach anything I don't know, but if you guys aren't able to do a movement, feel free to push back in that child's pose. We're all at our own skill levels here, so there'll be things that you can do that other people can't, and then other moves that other people can do and like you can't. So always feel free to ask me as well. I'm always available after class if you want to wait until after class and ask for a modification for a movement too. That being said, I promise not all of my intros are that long, but I just wanted to get all of that out of the way. We're going to go ahead and get started in that child's pose that we all know and love, keeping our knees wide on the mat, walking our hands a little bit forward, trying to get that hip stretch. If you have a watch, don't forget to start it. Feel free to add a little side-to-side motion if we're trying to get a bit more flow through the hips. Taking a moment here to rest, relax, bring awareness into all four corners of our body. Might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Feel your forearms pressed into the mat. You might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold and repeat. Trying to deepen that stretch just a little bit more on every exhale. If you want, feel free to lift those palms to the ceiling. Bring your forearms all the way to your back. Patting yourself on the back for showing up today. Taking one more big deep breath in, we're going to lower our hands back down, palms to floor, pushing ourselves up, finding that kneeling position. Feel free to sit cross-legged here or use that pad underneath your knees if they do start to hurt. And do a little bit of a shoulder and an arm warm-up in this next session. Lifting our hands all the way to the ceiling, finding length through those fingertips. Just taking those little side bends. Deep breaths in. On your next exhale, we're going to open up, reaching our left hand back, deep breaths in. Looking for length on every inhale, reaching a little bit further back on every exhale. One more deep breath in, coming back to center. And reaching back with that right hand. Length on that inhale, depth on that exhale. Deep breath in, coming back to center. Coming straight into those 90s, bring those elbows down to a bend. Should feel like you're pinching a pencil between your scapula right now. Exhale, we're pushing back up. Inhale, lower. Squeezing your scapula together. And exhale, pushing up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, push up. One more time. Inhale, lower, squeezing as hard as you can. Exhale, we're bringing our fingertips to our temples, and we're just going to do a little bit of a bird wing here. Still squeezing our scapula together, but we should be activating from underneath of those shoulders. Feel a little bit of a push up, trying to keep our posture set, bracing through our core. Should be squeezing your abdomen the entire time. Remembering to breathe. For 2 more. Last one. For here, feel free to grab a block for this next stretch. It's called a camel pose, which just means you're coming up and reaching back. You can also do this on your bum if you were cross-legged, if you wish. If you're looking for a little bit more depth, you can put the block on its side or go all the way down. Up to you. We're just going to reach here, still looking for length. Still just using this as a bit of a warm-up. If it does feel really hot in here, that's my fault. I cranked the temperature up so high. It was freezing, so. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're coming up and reaching to the other side now. Still remembering to breathe. Length on every inhale, depth on every exhale. Coming all the way back up. We're walking our hands into a tabletop position. Feel free to move that knee pad. From here, we're just wanting to keep our shoulders stacked over our wrists, slight bend in that elbow, keeping that pressure off your wrist joint, hips over knees. Starting with the left side, we're just going to do bent knee lifts. We're going to kick all the way back, keeping that knee bent, engaging through your left glute, lowering and lifting into a hydrant. Your core should be braced the entire time here. Only thing that you want to move is your left leg. Remembering to breathe. Inhale as you come back to center. Exhale as you push up. Squeezing through that left glute. Staying balanced through your core, pushing through the heels of your palm. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more. Kicking back once. And kicking to the left. Bring it all together. We're just going to do some knee circles, warming up those hips. Really focusing on keeping that balance, maintaining that strength. For 2 more. And last one. When you're ready, we're just going to pick up the right arm now, lifting all the way up. Lower. Lift. Lower, lift, lower for 1 more. This time we're going to lift, but we're going to reach all the way back. Trying to get that rotational warm up for your shoulder. Still remembering to breathe, pushing through all 4 corners of your body, squeezing your core. Last one. reaching all the way forward. Since we're already here, we might as well do a bird dog. We're gonna kick that left leg back. Length through your fingertips, through your toes. We're looking for a straight line all the way from the tops of your fingers, top of your head, hips to toes. Taking a deep breath in, and on that exhale, we're bringing elbow to knee, squeezing that core, focusing on that balance, and lifting all the way back up. This is a stabilizer movement. You should feel it in your deep core. Just remember to breathe. Focus on engaging those muscles. Really squeezing your core, taking breaks if you need for 2 more. And last one, reaching, lowering all the way down. We're going to pivot on that right knee, coming to face to your right, lifting all the way up and over. Give yourself a nice stretch. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're coming up to center. Fingertips to temples, not behind your head. That's going to cause you to try to squish down here. We want to engage our full core as we slowly let ourselves fall to the right. Squeeze that core, lift yourself all the way back up. Slowly fall to the right. Squeezing that core, lifting yourself all the way back up. Still using your breath. Make this movement easier for you. If you'd like to add a little bit more intensity to it, you can add that twist as you fall down. Push yourself back up. Remembering to breathe. Go ahead and do about 2 more. Really squeezing that core. Last one, we're gonna lower all the way down, right hand to floor or block if you need that elevation. And we're just gonna bring our other hand to our hip and do little arcs with that left leg, trying to squeeze through that left glute. Open up that left hip. Still engaging the core. If you want to increase that intensity, feel free to do it even slower. Have a slight hold at the top of that arc, and then lower down. On the top of that arc, you're going to want it to be even with your hip, possibly your head, depending on how long your arms are. For 2 more. Last one, when you get to the top of that arc, you're gonna hold your leg there, and we're gonna do 8 little baby pulses. What that means is just gonna lift up through that leg till you find a little bit of tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're lowering all the way down, both hands to the mat. Go ahead and twist back. We're gonna curl our toes underneath of us, pushing through the heels of our palms, slight bend in those elbows. You're gonna push all the way up, pedaling those feet out in your downward facing dog. Still remembering to breathe here. The goal is to push through your shoulders, using your back, trying to get your ribs to touch the tops of your thighs. Just remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. On that next exhale, we're walking our feet to our hands, finding our forward fold. Feel free to bend each knee here. That feels comfortable to you. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're gonna roll our vertebra, coming all the way up to standing, reaching our fingertips to the ceiling, taking those little side bends if need be. Deep breaths in. Exhale, lowering our hands down. interlacing our fingers behind us if you can, or just reaching for each hand. Taking a moment, rolling out your neck, looking for a spot where there's a bit of tension. Hold there until you feel a release, and then move on. We're still remembering to breathe, staying braced, pushing through all four corners of our feet. Pelvis should be up and in, squeezing your glutes and your core. Deep breath in. We're in a forward fold, bending at the hips. Squeezing your glutes, still pushing through all four corners of your feet. Deep breath in, slowly allowing yourself to sink further into this stretch. Exhale, unhooking those hands, finding that forward fold. This next series is called the Forward Fold Y series, which means we're going to do a half lift, hinging at those hips, trying to keep a straight line, still engaging your core here, squeezing, taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're bringing both of those arms up, finding that Y, pinch that pencil between your scapula as hard as you can, squeeze, exhale, we're lowering all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Arms meet to Y, squeeze that pencil. Exhale, lowering down. As you hinge up, you're still hinging at the hips, but you're also squeezing your glutes together. You should feel this throughout your whole body. One more deep breath in, we're coming up, but this time we're coming all the way up, lifting our fingers to the ceiling, stepping our feet to the outside of our mat. We're slowly lowering down, squeezing those glutes. Hands to prayer. If you remember these, you know you love them. We're going to lift our right heel off the ground. Pulse for 1, lift up, lower, lift left heel, lower, right heel. And we're just going to alternate till we feel a bit more of a burn. Then we'll move on. Still remembering to breathe. Squeezing through your glutes, pushing through your thighs, pressing through all four corners of your foot. If you want to add a bit more of a challenge, you can send your arms forward and back as you alternate, kind of a swimmer's. If you have coordination, or if you want to work on coordination, for 2 more. Last one, standing all the way up, little side bend. Then we're going to slowly lower all the way to the ground, finding that yogi squat. Option to sit on the block here if you have any difficulty. Working towards getting both heels on the ground. If you don't have a block and you're at home, pressing both hands in front of you, slowly working towards lowering your feet all the way down. Keep in mind in this position, you're wanting your chest to stay lifted. You're pushing through the heels of your feet, lifting through your hips. If you need more of a challenge, you can always spread your knees a little bit further with your elbows. Feel free to rock side to side if you need a bit more fluidity through this stretch. Gently waking up those hips. Deep breaths. On your next exhale, we're lowering those palms all the way to the ground, stepping back with each foot, finding a high plank. Wrists should be under your shoulders. Bending those elbows, staying strong through those triceps. Coming into our first vinyasa, feel free to push up all the way to upward dog, or you can lower all the way down, baby cobra, whatever is comfortable to you. Option to look over each shoulder. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, we're lowering all the way down. Taking a deep breath in here. On that next exhale, we're going to reach our arms all the way out in front of us, finding length through those fingertips. Lift those feet off the ground. We're going to start kicking and pull back. You can pull back one arm at a time. If you'd like to increase the intensity, you can reach back with both. Just a little bit of a swimmer exercise. Staying strong through your lower back, squeezing your core, squeezing your glutes. For 2 more. And last one. Lowering all the way down. Go ahead and lift that left foot up. We're going to reach back, pulling it in, or reaching for that foot. If you can't grab it, that's okay, just reach. Trying to pull your heel a little bit closer to your glute. Finding a stretch through that quad. Exhale, go ahead and let go of that foot. Kicking that right one up. Reaching back with that hand. If you can't grab your foot, that's okay, just reach. You might have more flexibility in one side than the other. Slowly working towards getting that heel closer to your glute. Breathing through this stretch, letting your body know it's okay to relax. Exhale, go ahead and let go of that foot. We're going to push back all the way into our child's pose. Taking a deep breath here. Go ahead and walk your hands all the way to the left. Finding a stretch through your right side body. Every inhale, you might try walking your fingertips a little bit further. Every exhale, sinking a little bit further to the floor. Just remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. We're rocking our hands back to center and all the way to the right. Finding a stretch through your left side body. Every inhale, trying to walk your fingertips a little bit more. Every exhale, falling a little bit further to the floor. One more deep breath in. We're coming all the way back to center, rising up, finding that tabletop position. So much fun. So let's go ahead and do it on the other side now. We're kicking that right leg back, finding that bent knee lift straight back and all the way to the side into that hydrant. Remember, we're staying strong through our core, lifting through our glute, pressing through the heels of our palms. Inhale as you come back to center. Exhale as you lift. Slight bend in those elbows to activate your triceps and your biceps, keeping pressure off of your joints. For one more on each, lifting up, kicking back, bring it all together. It's doing those hip circles. Again, we're only trying to move that right leg, trying to keep everything else sturdy and balanced. For 2 more. Last one. Lowering all the way down, lifting that left arm straight up and lower. Lifting up, lower, lift, lower. For one more, this time we're staying lifted, but we're wrapping that arm all the way around. A little bit more rotation through that shoulder joint. Still staying strong through that core, tucking that pelvis up and in. And last one, keeping our fingers straight in front of us. We're going to kick that right leg back now. Still looking for that straight line, tops of your finger, tip of your head, hips to the toes. On your next exhale, we're bringing our elbows straight to our knee, squeezing our core, and sending them back. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, length. Using your breath to guide you. This is a stability movement. Don't worry if it gets difficult. It is pretty tough. Go ahead and do this 2 more times. And last one, lowering all the way down. We're going to pivot with that left knee down now. Coming all the way back up to center and reaching over our head. Giving yourself a nice stretch. Rewarding yourself for getting through a difficult movement. Deep breath in. Length through your fingertips on every inhale. Deepening that stretch through every exhale. When you're ready, we're coming back up through center, fingertips to your temples. Remember, we don't want to push our head down like this. And slowly lowering down, coming into that core stretch. Squeezing your core the whole time, making sure it's staying activated. Our core is the foundation of balance. That's why we use it so much. If you're looking to increase the intensity, feel free to add that twist. For 2 more. Last one. This time as we lift, we're going to lower all the way back down to the ground. Feel free to place one hand on your hip. We're just going to go back into those arcs, pressing forward, lifting up until we're even with our hip, and kicking back. Making sure that right glute is staying activated the whole time. For 1 more. Bring that foot all the way even at the top of that arc. We're going to head into 8 little baby pulses for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lowering all the way down, making that twist again. Finding that tabletop position, curling your toes underneath, pushing through the heels of our palms, finding that downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet, waking up the backs of your legs. Remembering to breathe. This next movement can be a little difficult for some people, our next flow. So if you do feel your shoulders or your wrists getting tired at any point, feel free to lower down, push back into that child's pose. But when you're ready, we're going to lift that left leg up, finding that 3-legged dog. Finding deep stretch for your hips before. Go ahead and bend that knee. Twist your hips to the left wall if you're looking for a bit more intensity in this stretch. Taking a big deep breath in. On that next exhale, we're bringing that knee to our chest and kicking it back up. Still trying to push your ribs into the top of your thigh. Deep breath in, knee to chest. Exhale, kicking back up. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, kicking back up. One more time, inhale, knee to chest. But we're gonna step our foot between our palms, finding a low lunge. Feel free to lower all the way down to your knee and come up. But if you'd like to increase the intensity here, you can also come up to that high lunge. Just make sure your knee is staying stacked over your ankle. Deep breath in here, slowly letting your hips sink down. Deep breath in. On your next exhale, we're gonna let our hands come right out in front of us. Straightening out, opening up to that bent knee, trying to make a T, and closing that gate. Opening the gate, and close. Working on our balance, our mobility, range of motion. Still breathing. For one more. Exhale, we're going to close the gate, step our foot to the outside of the mat. Bring one hand down, feel free to rest on that block and pushing that knee outward. A little bit more stretch through those hips. Deep breath in. Slowly allowing yourself to sink further and further to the floor. On that next exhale, we're placing both hands on the mat. We're going to curl our toes underneath of us, stepping back into that high plank. Slowly lowering down, coming into another vinyasa. Feel free to push up all the way, upward facing dog, or you can lower all the way down to that baby cobra. Whatever's comfortable for you, feel free to look over each shoulder. Exhale, lowering all the way down, pushing up, finding that tabletop, curling your toes underneath of you, rising all the way up, finding that downward facing dog. We're going to repeat the same thing for the other side now. So when you're ready, we're lifting that right leg all the way up, three-legged dog, option to bend your knee, tilt those hips to the wall. Deep breath in. Exhale, bringing that knee to your chest and kicking it back up. Still pushing through the heels of your palms, staying strong through your shoulders. Squeezing that core, using your breath. For one more. Last one, bring that knee to your chest, stepping all the way into that low lunge. Option to rise all the way up if you want that challenge, or you can lower all the way down. Slowly let your hips fall further and further into the floor. Deep breath in. Go ahead and lift your arms all the way up. Fingertips to the wall in front of you. We're going to open that gate and close. Open, looking for length, and close. Trying to increase that range of motion. Wanting that knee stacked over that ankle. For two more. And last one. Go ahead and walk that foot to the outside of your mat, lowering all the way down. Option to place your hand on that block. And pushing your knee out. Remembering to breathe. Giving yourself the chance to relax. One more deep breath in as we slowly try to sink our hips further to the floor. On that next exhale, we're pushing up, coming all the way down into seated, whatever way is the most comfortable for you. Deep breath in as we lower down into boat pose. If you're comfortable with your feet on the ground, feel free to leave them there, but if you'd like to increase that intensity, you can also lift them up. We're going to bring our arms in front of us. We're again going to open up doing that T, but we want to keep our chest lifted, our core engaged. We want that quality over the quantity. Remembering to breathe. Taking deep breaths. Working on that range of motion, keeping that core engaged. When you're ready, we're coming. We're going to hold here. Feel free to bring yourself all the way into those hundreds, or you can just hold, whatever's comfortable for you. 30 seconds. Staying braced, keeping your chest lifted, maintaining that breath. 5 more seconds. Lowering those feet down, coming all the way to your back. Bringing your knees to your chest, giving them a nice circle. As your knees come back to center, we're just going to let them fall to either side of our body, using that core, stretching it out. Keeping those deep breaths. One more deep breath in. We're bringing those legs back to center, lowering the heels of our feet directly behind those glutes. We're going to tilt our pelvis up and in. Should feel like somebody's about to take a string and pull your belly button up. Pushing through the heels of your feet, lifting all the way to that glute bridge, squeezing at the top, keeping those hips lifted high and up to the ceiling. If you'd like to increase the intensity here, option to interlace your fingers behind your back, coming all the way up onto those shoulders. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, we're lowering all the way down. This time you're going to want to grab a block. This is one of my favorite movements. I know a lot of people aren't going to like them, so I'm sorry, but it's good for you. We're going to bend our knees up, so reverse tabletop, setting that block on top of your shins. We're going to reach our arms above our head, extending those legs out, and then squeeze our core, grab onto that block, and lift it over our head. I know it sounds a bit confusing, so if you need to watch, take a moment. Trying to eliminate any space between your lower back and the mat, doing this slow and in control. You can also do this without a block. Just imagine that's what you're holding. Should be a little bit of a burn. For one more. And go ahead and throw that block to the side, as long as you don't throw it at me. We're gonna lower our heels behind our glutes again. Go ahead and lift your right leg up and over top of your left, bringing the outside of your ankle on top of that thigh, grabbing onto your left hamstring or your left shin. Option to rock side to side if that feels comfortable. Taking those deep breaths here. And on that next exhale, you're going to want to send both of your hands to either side of your body and gently let your hips fall to the left. Trying to keep both shoulders planted on the ground, deepening that twist for your lower spine. One more deep breath in. On that next exhale, we're coming back up to center. Unhook your right leg from your left. Lift your left, hook it over top of your right, grabbing onto your right hamstring or your right shin. Gently pulling those legs closer to you. Option to rock side to side if that feels comfortable. One more deep breath in. And then we're sending our hands to either side of our body, gently letting your hips fall to the right. Looking for a twist through your lower back. Still trying to keep both shoulders planted on the floor. One more deep breath in. And we're coming all the way back up to center. Unhook your left leg from your right, bringing the soles of your feet together. Slowly letting your knees fall to either side of your body. Bring one hand over your heart, one hand over your stomach. We're going to meet here for our last few breaths of class today. Taking this time to set our intentions for the rest of today. Letting go of any stress or tension that's been built up throughout the day. Bring awareness to all four corners of your body. You might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Feel the back of your head pressed into the mat. And the rise and fall of your chest. You might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. Slowly allowing yourself to sink further and further into the floor. that brings us to the end of today's class. Feel free to stay and stretch if you didn't get the chance to already. Also sign in, but congratulations on making it through your first class of this session. Look forward to seeing you all again on Thursday. If you can't make it, still try to prioritize rest and recovery. It's going to be more sore on the second day, so when Thursday comes and you're super afraid to come to class, if you don't want to come, make sure you're still at least getting some sort of stretch in there. It's good for you, I promise. But with that, hope to see you all again on Thursday.